also. Perfect. So the SAT is,
Please. That's it.
here we go. Excuse me, sorry about that, everyone. So the SAT is basically an entrance exam that is used by colleges to see students' ability to do well in school. It's a good predictor of
15 minutes.
success in college. It is an entrance exam. It is also an exam that is required by the state of Illinois for graduation. So we administer it here at Stevenson High School. The exam is a multiple choice, pen and pencil. Oh yeah, I can mute everyone. Let's see, I'm gonna mute all. There you go. Thank you for asking. Is it better? Please let me know if it's better. I have muted everyone.
Much better.
Great. Terrific. Thank you. And I'm sorry for that. So the SAT is a pencil and paper exam that is multiple choice, that is given to every student in the state of Illinois. And so all juniors at Stevenson take it as well. It is, when you take it at Stevenson, it takes pretty much most of the day, because we also include the essay, which is an option for the SAT test, and we give breaks. So when students come in the morning and they take the test here, when they will in April, it will take most of the day because we do give breaks in between it. It is used to measure a student's readiness for college. And what happens is it's used by a lot of schools because it provides a common data set for colleges to look at, because there's not like an SAT in Illinois and an SAT in Indiana. It's the same test that's given nationally, it's normed nationally, and it's scored nationally, right? So it is not designed to assess memorization. It is an application of knowledge and skills. And it is measuring how the student's mind manages information and how skilled of a thinker the student is. While there are just reading and mathematics and writing on the SAT, science and social studies are also embedded in the SAT test. So it also measures that. It was developed by the College Board, which is a not-for-profit organization. And they review every single question every year to make sure that it's legit and it's measuring what they intend for it to measure. Okay, so the SAT is taken in 11th grade at Stevenson High School. The way the test is organized is that there is a reading component, which is, I'm reading this because I don't want to get it incorrect, 65 minutes with 52 questions or tasks. There is a writing and language component that is 35 minutes long with 44 questions or tasks. A math component, which is 80 minutes long with 58 questions or tasks. And our students in April will be taking the essay and that is one question that is handwritten. The total amount of time is 230 minutes. But as I said to you, it takes a little bit longer when you take it at Stevenson because we do allow for breaks in the test. It is required by the state of Illinois, as I said, and it's also used for college admissions. Now, we will talk a very little bit about the ACT because I know that different colleges have different testing requirements. We're not going to go too far into that, but just know that the SAT is also used as a common score for entrance into college. There is a lot, and your students will be taking, your juniors, if you have a junior, they will be taking the SAT at Stevenson on April 12th. There is no registration that's necessary. There is no fee required. If you take it outside of that, you will have to register and there will be a fee. But if you take it here on April 12th as a junior, no fee, no registration. And there is a lot of practice support for the SAT at Stevenson. The reason I really pushed to have this tonight is because on Friday is the last day that you can register your student to take the free practice SAT that will be administered here on February 4th. So, and we will get to that. I just want to let you know there was a method to why I did this tonight. Okay. So how is the SAT scored? It is reported as one number. The number is between 400 and 1600. You only get points if you answer something correctly. So it's best to answer something on every answer because you don't get a deduction for an incorrect answer. I hope that makes sense. So when they score the SAT, your score is ranked against a national sample of the population, which is all students in the same grade. So all 11th graders are scored against one another. And the way you access your scores is through the College Board. And we will go to the College Board site. For those of you who already have a College Board account, it is an account outside of Stevenson. That username and password, put it in as many important places as you can so you won't forget it, because it's really important to know what your College Board username and password is. It's very difficult to try to get it again. There is a lot of additional information on the College Board website as well. Once you take the test, it will tell you what college majors you might want to think about, and you will get a copy of your essay, which is also important so your student can review what they did. As I said, the final score is a sum of the scores on each of the sections without the essay. They're each worth 800 points. And when you go in and you get your score, you can see a breakdown of how you did in a number of different sections. So in English and writing and language, there are the following sort of subtopics that they will give you a score in. One of them is the expression of ideas. So how well do you use topic development and organization? And how well does the student rhetorically use language? The next one will be the standard use of English conventions, right? So sentence structure, punctuation, stuff like that. The next one will be words in context, which is a word phrase in the meaning of a larger sentence or paragraph. And then a command of evidence. So that would be a student is asked to interpret and use evidence in context of reading a passage. In math, it's the heart of algebra, which is linear equations, systems of linear equations and functions, problem solving and data analysis, which is the ability to synthesize data and look in data-rich context. How can you pull out data from that? Also, a passport of advanced math. So structure of sentences, reasoning in more complex mathematical equations, and interpreting and building functions. The essay scores are all read by two different readers and scored and normed, and that's how you get your essay score. And and they look to see how well did you understand the passage, how well did you analyze the passage, and then what kind of writing scores do you have. So your essay score is separate, and your total score out of 1600 is a composite or the addition of your mathematics score and your English score. Okay. So the spring SAT testing dates are this Friday, and I will show you a QR code that I'm going to ask you that will take you to how to sign up for the free SAT test that is going to be held here at Stevenson on Saturday, February 4th. It will be held in the field house. It is free. You don't have to do anything but sign up for it. Then every junior will take the SAT here on April 12th. So, and it is a graduation requirement, so they have to take it, okay? So this is where I'm going to move my, I don't know where my video is, but do you see this QR code down at the bottom of this page? That is a QR code that if you take your telephone and you put it to the phone, your phone application, and you point to this QR code, for those of you who don't, are not familiar with QR codes, then a little yellow sort of link will come up. And if you link there, it will take you to the bookstore, and it will take you directly to the place where you would register for the free SAT. That free SAT is only for juniors. So juniors can come. Your students have been told about this prior, but I wanted all the parents and guardians to know about it as well. And Friday is the last day to be able to register for that. Okay, let's go on to what is the PSAT. So the PSAT is administered to all freshmen, so 9th graders, and sophomores, 10th graders at Stevenson High School. It is a precursor to the SAT, but it is also considered the national merit scholarship qualifying test. So based on student scores in the PSAT, they could become national merit scholars, and there is money associated with that for college. The PSAT is considered a warm-up to the SAT, and over 2 million students take the PSAT. In 9th grade, that PSAT acts as a baseline score for college readiness. And in 10th grade, it is used again as to see what kind of growth the student has had from 9th grade to 10th grade. It is a little bit shorter than the SAT. So in the 9th grade PSAT, it's a 2-hour and 25-minute test with 55 minutes for reading, 30 minutes for writing and language, and 60 minutes for math. In 10th grade, the PSAT is a 2-hour and 45-minute test, so just about 15 minutes more. So each section is a little longer. So reading then moves to 60 minutes, writing and language moves to 35 minutes, and math is then a 70-minute test. 9th and 10th graders take the PSAT at Stevenson. Again, similarly, you do not need to register for it. You do not need to do anything. 9th graders will take the PSAT on April 12th, and 10th graders will take the PSAT on April 25th. We use it to measure reasoning skills and college readiness as well. And if your student is not at a readiness level, you would then get at the readiness level. I'm going to the state of Illinois has a page, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this PDF and I'm going to put it in here for everyone. Excuse me, everyone in the meeting. I am going to put this address in here. This is the state of Illinois SAT performance levels for all families. When your student takes the PSAT or the SAT and they're not at the level that they should be in 10th grade or 11th grade, then what you get is a letter that says your student has been referred to Revolution Prep. And Revolution Prep is a course that is hosted at Stevenson, and your student then will get a book like this for a refresher for the SAT workbook. So that would be for juniors after 10th grade and for seniors after 11th grade. And that will help them get that skill development up. And you will see what the score levels are for the state of Illinois. And that's how we see if they are on track with their college readiness skills. If you want to know about the practice test for and it taking, if your student needs extra time, I suggest that at the end of this, there will be an email. I suggest that you contact the SAT, the support at Stevenson, and they'll be able to help you through that, and they'll be able to answer all those questions for you. There is a number of support options for the PSAT as well. And what I found is, what is interesting is that the College Board suggests that the best way to do better on the PSAT or the SAT is to take the test more often, right? To just practice taking the test. So you can take it through Revolution Prep if you want to. There, you can sign up for that, or there are summer school classes for sophomores, juniors, and seniors that are SAT prep classes. There is also free support through Khan Academy. And we will look at the Khan Academy site tonight as well, because it's free and you can do it at any time. And there's PSAT support through Khan Academy and SAT support through Khan Academy that you don't have to go to a class for. You can take the test right online as you're wherever you are, and whatever will fit your time frame. The testing dates for the PSAT are as follows. On April 12th, all 9th graders will take the PSAT, and on April 25th, all 10th graders will take the PSAT. Okay. All right. So I just would like to review quickly that there is the free PSAT practice test for juniors on February 4th. It's a Saturday. It is here in the field house. If you register by Friday, and we'll review how to do that, it is free. You can take it. There is a summer school SAT prep course for sophomores, juniors, and seniors, rising sophomores, rising juniors, and rising seniors, that takes place at Stevenson. There is a fee for that. There is free tutoring through the Stevenson tutors. So say your student takes maybe the Khan Academy free class and free test and doesn't do it a question right, but doesn't understand how did they get that right, then they can come to one of the tutors and say, hey, I don't understand how I'm supposed to do this. Can you help me? And they can give them free guidance on that, which is pretty nice. The College Board is also another great resource. The College Board will actually, when you sign up for the College Board, your student can sign up for a daily question. So say your student doesn't have time to sit and take tests constantly, or maybe you have a sophomore that wants to just slowly build their skills in taking the SAT or the PSAT, they can get a daily question sent to them. They also have full-length practice tests and downloadable practice tests, because remember, we talked about that it is a pencil and paper test, and maybe your student is not familiar with taking a pencil and paper test. Also, Khan Academy has wonderful practice tests. Oh, sorry, I went too far. So now I want to just spend just a little bit of time talking about the ACT, because as you think about college entrance exams, you'll hear a lot about the SAT and the ACT. And although Stevenson does not give all of our students the ACT because we do the SAT, we do host the ACT sometimes. And the ACT is also an entrance exam that's used by many colleges to make admissions decisions. It also is a multiple choice pencil and paper test, and it is administered by the ACT Inc. The purpose is to measure a student's readiness for college. It is taken during the junior year. You can take it multiple times, and it is offered in September, October, December, February, April, June, and July. There are 4 sections in the ACT: reading, English, math, and science. And there is also an optional essay on the ACT test. The test is scored, each section is scored on a point scale of 1 to 36. And the composite ACT score is the average of each of those sections. So if you get a 36 on every section, you get a 36 on the test. If you get a 1 on every section, you get a 1 on the test. It is the average of your scores. If you take the ACT writing test, you will get a separate score for writing. So some people ask, like, well, what should I take, the SAT or the ACT? You take the SAT as a part of being a student in Illinois and being a student at Stevenson, but you can decide if you want to take the ACT or not. The ACT is, while the SAT is being given in April to our freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, there is an alternate SAT test on March 11th at Stevenson that you would sign up for through the College Board outside of the school, and there would be a fee for that. Also on June 3rd, you could sign up for the SAT, excuse me, at Stevenson, and that would also be through the College Board, and there would be a fee for that. The ACT will be administered at Stevenson on February 11th of this spring. There are also all these tests. You don't have to come to Stevenson to take these tests. When you go on and you register outside of the testing day, like during the school year, those dates in April that I told you, you can take them at any of the local high schools around here. You just make sure that you say what high school you go to, and you can take it anywhere you want to. I'm just telling you about the dates that are being administered at Stevenson High School. So I would like to just review with you on the Stevenson website, there is a specific page for PSAT and SAT and ACT testing support. It is under academics. So if you notice, I'm sorry, I'm just moving some pop-up windows. If you notice under academics, I'm on the Stevenson website. Under academics, right here is a button called PSAT, SAT, and ACT testing. And this is a wealth of information for you that you can just scroll down. The testing dates are here, as well as any kind of notes or anything for those testing dates. Also, school day testing information on those, information on national testing dates, frequently asked questions about the SAT, ACT, and PSAT, and then additional resources. I do want to highlight the additional resources because there's a lot of very good information about the PSAT for 10th grade as well as 9th graders. Also, the PSAT, if a junior would be taking that, SATs for juniors, that's your score that you'll be getting in April, and then helpful SAT resources. These are links to a number of different outside sites that you can use to help support your student in preparing for the SAT. Because remember, what the College Board says is the best way to prepare for the SAT is to take the test repeatedly and have continual practice on it. So you can do that through the College Board on a daily basis, or take full-length practice tests, or even download full tests and take them using a pencil and paper. One of the things that they talk about when you take the PSAT is that you should, and the SAT, any kind of practice test, be very mindful of time, especially for those of you whose students get a little bit of extra time. It would be a good idea for you to help them manage their time when they're taking those practice tests. Okay, let's keep going on. So remember, we talked about signing up for the SAT practice test. The way you would do this is you would go into the Stevenson bookstore, log in with your username and password to the bookstore. And I logged in earlier today, but I'm sure I've been kicked out. So you would, I'm not sure if you see where I'm going to get to the Patriot Superstore. Under Student Life, you'll see the Patriot Superstore is right here in this first column. And you would click on this selection, then scroll down to visit the Patriot Superstore, and it'll ask you for your username and password. And you log in, and when you log in, you come to this page with all these different squares. I'm sure all of you are familiar with that if you have ever signed your student up to do anything. But what you're going to look for is you're going to look for testing. So the way it looks on my screen is it's the third row down. And when you click on testing, you will see biliteracy exam and SAT practice test. When you click on SAT practice test, you just put your student's last name in and their ID number and add it. And then you would check out, and you are then registered because it's free, and your student will be able to take the SAT practice test then. And they'll get a score, and they'll be able to see how they did on each of the sections well before they take the test again in April. So the next thing I wanted to show you is the College Board website. So the College Board website is, I'm going to put this in the, this one in the chat as well, since it's not a bookmark that we might all have. This is the College Board where you would sign in with your username and password. Again, if you have a College Board account, it is important to keep that username and password in a safe place, however you manage your passwords, so that you don't forget it, because it's kind of difficult to get it. And you'll need your username and password to get your score. So what you would do then is you can view your PSAT or SAT scores, and then there's lots of information on the PSAT or on the College Board website. So if I go into the SAT suite, I can sign in to see my score, but the other things that I can see are dates and deadlines. I can also go in under this drop-down menu, if you see it, and you can see there's SAT practice and preparation, what to bring on a test day, any dates and deadlines, how to register, what to do for the SAT on your school day. You will also find that information on the PSAT site, preparing for the PSAT, scores, test dates, anything like that. So it's a really great website for you to use with your student to prepare for the SAT. And it also answers a number of questions that you may have about taking the test. What should you bring? What will it be like? Those kinds of things. It's a nice thing to review with your student. The last one I wanted to share with you, the last website, is Khan Academy. So Khan Academy is a really great resource to help study for the SAT. And I have it on an SAT, on the SAT page, and I'm going to put, oh, I have been sharing these with only one human. So this is a really great website that is actually recognized by the College Board as being a really good resource to prepare you for the SAT. So when you go on to Khan Academy, you can get a number of different kinds of practice for your student. You can have it personalized. You can do a real practice test. You can do a lot of different tests, and how do you filter through those tests? So Khan Academy is a great resource for you to use, that is free, online, accessible all the time, and a really good resource for families and for students that are wanting to take or are preparing to take the SAT. I'm looking for College Board site because I realized I did not put the College Board site on here for everyone. Okay. For those of you who have questions on testing, the email that you want to email is SHS lower score testing at d125.org. So if you have any questions about testing, you would email SHS lower score testing at d125.org. I also wanted to point out to you, and by no means do you have to do this, but the College Board also puts out this very large book of practice tests and explanations about the questions that you will find on the SAT for you to look at if you want to. Here's practice essays. It is exactly what the test is going to look like. So if you want to see, and you want something that you don't have to download, and you want a book to look at, you can always get a copy of the College Board's SAT book. We don't have this here for sale, but you can always pick one up. And I didn't want to not point it out to you. We do also have the Revolution Prep classes that if your student does not make those standards, does not score along those standards that the state of Illinois has put out, you will get a letter that says they should probably be in Revolution Prep. You can also always go on Khan Academy or the College Board for free resources. And if your student is stuck on any question or anything, they are welcome to come in and talk to the tutors here. Are there any questions that anyone has that I have not answered information for you?
I have a question about, we've been hearing that it would transition to online-based testing. I'm not a parent of a junior, so I was wondering if there's a
Okay,
timeline as
well,
to
I
when
want to let you know that a copy of this presentation will be on accessible to you if you want to review anything. Revolution Prep is an SAT preparatory review course that is offered at Stevenson to students specifically who do not meet minimum benchmarks when they are taking the PSAT, either as a 10th grader or the SAT as a junior, 11th grader. There's also summer classes that you can take. This will be posted up to, you'll be able to get it through the Stevenson website. It will be on my my YouTube page. Yeah, so here, okay, it's very funny that you asked about, someone asked about online testing. Supposedly, next year, it's all going to be online. We haven't really heard any specifics about that. And I talked to Dr. Israel, who also works directly with the College Board on all of our testing. And I said to her, like, so I'm doing this, this presentation to families. What's the deal with online testing? She's like, yeah, they say next year, but we don't we don't know if that's really going to happen. So when it does happen, we'll let you know, because all schools it'll be mandatory for all schools to then give the test digitally. No, so the question, you're welcome. So the question was, do you have to register for the PSAT here or the SAT here? No, you do not. As a student here, you are automatically registered for the PSAT and the SAT for your grade level. And remember, that's 9th grade, freshmen, 10th grade, sophomores, and juniors. No, there is no limit to the number of times you can take the SAT. You're very welcome. So yeah, okay, so here's two things. There is no limit to how many times you can take the SAT. And I would tell you that even the College Board says the more times you take it, the better off you'll be. Now, do I think you should pay for it every single time? I don't want to walk into your finances, but if there's free resources to take the test, I would try to take it a few times through the College Board or through Khan Academy, or do those daily practice tests, because what happens is then you get familiar with the cadence and the way the questions are being asked, and then you feel more familiar with it, right? So it's like, oh, I know how to do this test. There is no limit to how many times you take it. There is also to take a practice test. The free practice test at Stevenson is only open to juniors. I'm sorry, but the free practice test on February 4th is only open to juniors. However, what you can do is, if you're not a junior, if you are the parent or the guardian of a freshman or a sophomore, I would highly encourage you, if you want your student to start taking practice tests, get on Khan Academy or the College Board. They're free and they're full-length tests. And the only thing that they need to do is they need to have someone test them. You're like, time them. So you can time them. You can set a timer on your phone or on your iPad, and then they can still take the free tests or, practice tests. Okay, we just had Jeff Salingo here a few months ago. I don't know if any of you were able to join us, but Jeff Salingo is, he wrote Who Gets Into College and Why, and we had the director of admissions from University of Illinois here. And he asked, the question is, how important is it to take the SAT tests? Well, you have to take it for graduation in the state of Illinois. So you're going to have at least one score. Colleges, Salingo and the admissions director from U of I both said you should take it. We take it as part of graduation requirements in the state of Illinois. So I think that that's kind of a personal decision, whether or not you want to use it. I would say that, just a College Career Center plug here, when the families of juniors have received letters to meet with our college counselors, I would highly suggest that when you go to that meeting, you ask whomever you meet with, either Mr. Miller or Ms. English, ask them about the colleges that you're looking at and whether or not you feel the scores would be helpful for admissions or not helpful for admissions, or important for admissions or not. Because some schools are test optional. They've been test optional for some time. What Salingo and Borst were talking about, those are the two gentlemen that talk, was it's like a pendulum, right? So it sort of started swinging one way and then it's starting to swing the other way. And so it's, there's no hard and fast rule for it right now. PSAT score is just, someone asked how important the PSAT score is. It is really just a college readiness exam score. It just is sort of, are you on track so that in the next couple of years you will be ready to be in college when you graduate from high school. If your student is not making those readiness, that score for readiness, you will be referred to Revolution Prep, because we want your student to be on track to be able to do well in college. But in terms of anything else, it does factor into if you want your student to be a National Merit Scholar. But I read a statistic that over 2 million students, and I think I told you that, took the PSAT, and there are only 7,500 National Merit Scholars. So it's a really, really small percentage of students that take the PSAT that actually receive the National Merit Scholarship. Okay. I'm Mara Gruzjanik. I really thank you very much for your time tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope I've answered your questions. If I haven't, please feel free to reach out to me or Stevenson Testing at SHS Testing, SHS lower score testing at d125.org. Thank you for your time tonight. Take care of yourselves. If you're not home, be careful driving home. I heard that it's pretty snowy outside. And have a good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me. Thanks so much. Bye, everyone.